This just happened today. You recall we prepared plans and specifications for upgrading the electric service into the Raritan Public Library. We went out to bid on that last week. We didn't receive any bids back, but based on the fact that we did have to go out to bid for quotes, formal quotes. We negotiated with one of the bidders, received a quote back today, and that quote is $25,760. We estimated $30,000 when we started this endeavor. It is in two parts, and he broke out one part also being provide trenching, backfilling, and patching of the sidewalk and seed. That he wants $3,900 for that. I believe that may be one of the exercises we can do with Public Works. Relatively simple to do that. However, we don't have an ordinance to enable funding of this.
You have money to enable funding of this?
Stan and I talked this, either A, the council would want the library to pay, or B, I could explore the capital surplus ordinances we canceled, whether we could reappropriate it. I think we probably could, but I would explore that.
I have been party to this discussion prior to sitting here, and there is a lease agreement between us and the library. It's rather clear, and frankly, I think it's appropriate that if it is our expense, then that we should handle it and move forward that way. At the end of the day, it is our building.
But why can't we include this into the new project and just add it as a couple of line items? The electricity is also going to affect the new project, and make it part of the new project and just incorporate it in that, rather than us go through the borough.
Because by lease agreement, that's where it falls, under that. And I didn't draw on the lease agreement, I'm just telling you what the lease agreement says. I don't know, but that's what it says.
Right.
The electric though is gonna be,
The
spot's gonna be big enough for that to be addition on?
Yes.
Because again, my issue is that this electric box wasn't even addressed when they talked about the addition, which is mind-numbing to me. But, you know, I guess I'm just still confused by
We
this.
conversed with the applicants, with the library's MEP, and this is adequate for the size of the panel.
But we don't put money aside in the budget for maintenance of the library building, do we? As a specific area.
No, and you know, the question, I'm not trying to be evasive in this, but the way we've worked with the library for many, many years was the library took care of some of the maintenance and we took care, and it was just, the relationship was good. So there wasn't, if we had a disagreement over a particular bill, or who was gonna shovel snow, or who was gonna take care of a plumbing problem or electrical, it was worked out, honestly. I mean, what did we do before the lease? Nobody was throwing, darts at each other. We were trying to work it out, and we did. I might even say to the library, if you think you can handle this, other times the borough would pick up something and it would be a matter of balance. Honestly, that's the way it worked. For an expense of $25,000, you are talking about a major expense. If we didn't have capital surplus, suppose we didn't have capital surplus, which I'm going to explore, I'm not definitely coming back. What would I say to the council? You may have to go to a bond anticipation ordinance for our capital program for 2016.
Yeah, I think it was at our last meeting, and it could have been the one before, where we had the, hopefully the one and done snowstorm for 2015, 16 rather.
Yeah, it was memorable.
One of the issues that the library ran into was that every contractor was going for their larger clients as opposed to smaller clients. And as a consequence, the library, I went there that morning, and our sidewalks in the Borough Hall and the police department and the fire department were clear, pardon me, and the libraries were not, and I think we previously discussed that. And one of the things that I had suggested, and we also discussed here as well as at the library board, was to have the town on a go-forward basis put the library for snow removal so we could get the library open. Because the library wasn't gonna be able to be open until this contractor, and I thought that was not a good way to do business, because here we have this building for want of a show of a sidewalk. Now, in essence, I brought that back and I said that I thought the council, that made some sense. And if I recall, and I'd like to confirm my number the next time, but I recall that was several $1,000s of savings that went to the library that would accrue over multiple years. And what I would like to do is essentially try to get back on a even keel like that you were describing, and essentially maybe we can trade a little bit and say, hey, you know, this is more than a small amount of money on an annual basis. Obviously, it depends on the amount of snow. But I think in your line of conversation, I think it's worth having a conversation with the library trustees at the next meeting, and to say, would you consider, since you seem to have a little bit extra money, that maybe this could see your way through, and recognize the fact that we were picking up a several $1,000s a year expense by wanting to have the library open for the people in town when it snows. And so I think that while we got to the same spot, we just got there a little bit differently, but I would ask, is that going to screw you up with respect to getting this done? Because the reality is there's some deficiency, that as I understand it, with respect to the service in there. And when I sit there at nights, the lights flicker, and I don't know if that's a factor or that's the electrical panel. But are you able to proceed without this deliberation being resolved for another 30 days?
I don't think we can do that with money unless the library has money that they can put toward this project to initiate and reimburse them.
Okay, so what I would suggest that we do is I will reach out to the library and ask them to partially fund this until we make a final determination. And then if we make a final determination that we do not see eye to eye, then we would replenish their funds. And if we do, then that's fine too. And but I think the issue has been to try to get a more favorable working relationship the way it used to be. Is that fair?
Can we revisit the maintenance agreement? Is that?
It's a lease agreement, I would assume we can, yes.
I don't know what the term is, but
I'm not sure either. And
I didn't look at that very much.
Maybe we ought to look at it, go over the details again, and maybe it wasn't advantageous to us at the time when it approved.
Yeah, well,
just as an exercise.
As Dan points out, you know, it was a difficult time between the council and the library, and I think it's important for the residents that the council and the library get beyond that difficult time. I spent a lot of time trying to do that myself, and I know that, you know, others have also. And so I think reasonable people make reasonable decisions. But obviously, we're free to look at whatever we want to and review that. It is owned by the residents of the borough, and that's fine. But relative to this, I think your point is well taken on the panel, particularly in light of the fact that we are picking up several $1,000s of additional expense or deferred expense on the snow removal. It's not an unreasonable conversation to have in the spirit of cooperation. Fair enough?
Sure.
You're okay with that?
I'm fine with that. I'll have a
I will give
conversation
him-
with Denise with Public Works regarding the trenching
Fine.
prior to this.
And I will reach out for the board of trustees immediately, well, not immediately, but tomorrow. Okay?
And
All righty.
One more.